Oh, here we go. Hats off to Marshall. I mean, that team played hard. Man, they gave themselves a chance. Man, it was a hard fought, football game. We knew that they were going to look to run the ball. Man, they got some yards through the air. They bled us a little bit. Most of their runs probably came more late than it did early. Um, uh, for us, we have to be better in those critical situations um, where there's momentum changes. I mean, like this game went back and forth, but um, the penalty on fourth down, okay, on a punt was ridiculous. Like for us, we have to be smarter. That's the third time this year we've been off the field, okay, man, and we've let a team off the hook, which has led to points. That's 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 a tough lesson to learn 3 out of 4 weeks. All right. And what what you start to know and understand is that, I tell the guys, man, there's two types of players, trained and untrained. And um, this Marshall team, man, was going to test every part of what we had. Um, I thought we set edges early. I thought we did some things early. Like there were some lulls in that ball game. I thought offensively, Nick had a great night. I thought he was, on point. But this is what you start to understand. Penalties kill drives. They do. And, 12 penalties is 12 too many. A lot of penalties tonight. Now, when some of it, when you get a chance to look at it, but you'll make your own decisions. But there were a lot of penalties called in some critical situations, even in the red zone. That again, that that helps to take points off the board, and those are situations that we have to get ourselves out of, whatever that looks like. I don't care if we got to get our hands in and block a little better, strain a little more, but I thought the loose change sort of started to derail what this team was about, and then they got into 4 minute mode. And like for us, the fits that we had early became diving tackles late and non-opportunities to get these guys off the field. So again, like hats off to the Marshall team, man. I thought they did a good job of playing 4 quarters. Man, we've got to continue to be better. I challenged our team, like at the end of this. We're 1-3 right now. We haven't played a conference game. We got a lot of football ahead of us, but the the offensive numbers, like they're great, man, but we want points. Defensive numbers, we need stops and we need turnovers. Okay, and I gotta tilt my hat to Hathaway. 50-yard field goal. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And I thought he had a great week of practice. So um, there's some small rays of light in this, but at the end of the day, not good enough. And so what we'll do is then we'll regroup. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll get ready as we get ready to push towards Kennesaw. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, tonight probably the best offensive performance from your team this season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot better than the last few weeks. Just what do you attribute that change to?
Uh, they've been getting better. It's taken time. It's been like a chemistry, um, equation. We've needed to, get guys touches. We found ourselves with one-on-one situations, and obviously Najee targets went up. Marion made some plays, and you see what he can do. Once he can catch it, like you see what he can do. He's got speed. Um, but when I look at this group, I think Jaquel's a weapon. We've got weapons. It's just the chemistry, part of it, and I think that's continuing to get better. Nick being the catalyst, I think we're starting to understand players and think more players than plays, and I think that's the important thing because guys got to get touches. If we're going to score points, best players got to like touch the ball, and I think we got more players right now. I know 7 guys touch the ball, but we got more players than that. Our thing is the consistency by which we play, right? I think we've shored some things up and try to make it simpler for like our offensive line to play better and keep Nick upright, with low pocket movement and some other things. But I think it's all working together and week by week, and they're continuing to get better. Tonight, man, we should have easily scored 40 points ourselves. It just you know some things kill some drives, penalties.
Aside from a couple plays here and there, the offensive line held up pretty well all night.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just describe their play and how are you able to get good production out of them tonight?
We're just again, you gotta think players like more than plays. What do we do well? Okay, like what do we need to continue to get better at? And like as a staff, I think those guys are doing a really good job of just talking about it. Okay, thinking who are we? What can we do? What do we need to get better at? And there's always room to get better. So that's where they've been last couple of weeks, just trying to figure out the chemistry equation on how to score points.
Are you seeing the growth now that non-conference is included that,
Yeah.
that you're wanting to see moving into conference play?
I am. I am. I mean, we got to get a couple guys back, like on the defense side of the ball, just for depth purposes, man, before we, make that run. But the reality is, some young guys like Corey Smith and Willis Byard have gotten a lot of plays, but you do miss Alex in there. A veteran guy with a lot of experience. But right now, those guys are getting a lot of experience that'll pay dividends for us if we let it. Okay, I mean, what we got to do is tighten it up with the guys that we got, and then when the cavalry comes, we'll be a better football team because of it. You know, outside, I just think, for us, just showing up the tackling. I saw some things tonight early that were good, then I saw some things late, man, where for us, you can call it fatigue or whatever you want. Okay, man, but we just have to be better tacklers. Period.
Coach, you've been a part of 3 weather delays in your time here.
Yeah.
How does that change the view of the game for you from a coaching perspective?
Yeah, I'm actually starting to understand how they work and how to get your team ready for it. I mean, we came out and we were ready to play. There was no slow moving, for us. I thought we came out and scored and they scored, then we scored. I mean, it just turned into that type of game. So I think both teams handled the weather delay. I mean, I feel for the fans. I mean, I thought it was a good crowd. I thought they came out. It was homecoming, and they came out to like enjoy homecoming festivities. But in terms of a football game, I think they came out and saw some points scored and probably had a pretty good time. The outcome is not what we wanted, but the football just definitely needs to get better on our part.
You mentioned it, but you guys had 12 penalties tonight, which obviously not what you want. How do you clean those things up going forward?
I just got to look at the tape, right? I mean, the fourth down penalty never should have happened, right? I mean, that's us hurting us. The dumb penalties are the ones. There are a couple. When you look back on the iPad, because I look right afterwards, and I'm just trying to see because I'm asking for explanations, and you look and that's a tough one to swallow a little bit. I looked at a fair amount of these penalties tonight, and I just thought like for us, it just wasn't it didn't go our way. So we got to do a better job. So on the kickoffs or special teams ones where you get holds, it's just about being in better position, right? It is because if it's close, like they'll call it. I didn't see one that was close, but they called it, so that's okay. I saw a couple pancakes. I saw a pancake on a run. So like for me, I just have to continue to make sure we coach it better, and we'll do that.
Coach, you mentioned going into conference play.
Yeah.
Winning the conference would erase a lot of this early season stuff.
Yeah.
That would be rear view mirror kind of stuff.
Yes,
How
it
do you
would.
get the team to start focusing, kind of leave this in the rear view mirror and start focusing on the games that are important?
I said that exact same thing. Like now that the preseason is done, and that's not really how you want to refer to it, but that's really what it is. You got to get into conference play now, and there's no room for error. Like for us, I've seen Jack State do it, a year ago. In terms of what it looked like, you gotta get on a run, right? And it's got to start for us now. And this team is capable. It's got firepower. I mean, it's got enough players, but the execution has to ratchet up. But we're not that far away. We're not that far away, and we're going to play some teams that we're tight with. And we're going to play some teams, man, that may have a little more than us. The thing that we got to do is get these teams to deep water and give ourselves a chance to get to the fourth quarter, man, and play really good football. So that's the goal. And now, man, we got to turn our gaze towards Kennesaw State to do that.
Coach, I heard you mention fatigue earlier, and that probably played a factor towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Looking here, it looks like they, outdid you on the time possession by about 13 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
Is that really what it comes down to, where they're just able to come back and kind of put it away, or do you think it was some other factors?
Well, I think I mentioned a couple, right? I think penalties kill drives, right? And we got behind the chains, okay, which gave the ball back to them, several times. The penalty gave the ball back to them, which led to points. So I think when you go through this process of, you know, giving teams versus making teams earn it, okay, it becomes problematic, especially with a team like this, because what they wanted to do was control it anyway, right? I mean, they didn't control it by explosive first downs. Even though they had one or two, like in the fourth quarter, they really controlled it by us getting off the field so fast. Our three and outs, okay, made it extremely like difficult because they were running the clock. So I think it's a formula for us where when you get a 5 yard loss on a fly sweep, put you behind the chains, right? It's all the little things that sort of become loose change that sort of derail, and they did a really good job of staying on schedule. I mean, most of the time, most of the night, they found themselves in 2nd and 6, or 2nd and 4, okay, and that's the game that they want to play. So, we have to have some answers for that because they're not the only team that likes to find themselves in that situation.
And then one more for you.
Sure.
You have mentioned how you see incredible growth throughout your team. What's the biggest area of growth from first game to now that you think is really going to benefit towards a strong conference?
We're getting to the red zone. I mean, like we're getting to the maroon zone. We're getting to the 30-yard line, man. We got to score touchdowns. Like that's you got to score. When you score, man, you put pressure on teams. We also got to defend better, right? You got to tackle better. So like the areas of growth are points. Okay, the areas of needed improvement. Okay, getting off the field. I mean, like tonight, offensively, we were 3 of 10 on third down. That's not what you want, right? We needed to have explosive plays, but we also needed to stay on the field. So the growth is good, but it sometimes gets overshadowed by the loss, right? So we'll talk about the growth like tomorrow. Right now, okay, man, I'm feeling the sting of the loss. So sorry if I'm not the happiest dude in the world and want to be talking about everything that's merry, but it's not merry. Like right now, like we're a 1-3 football team, and it's got a lot of work to do, man, to push ourselves down the road.
One more right here.
Yeah.
Coach, heading into conference play, there's several really quality teams in Conference USA you guys will have to face this year.
Yep.
How do you prepare your team for the week out grind?
Well, I'll say we played a grind, right? I mean, we played a grind of mistakes and heroics, and like what you got to do is, man, you got to learn how to start fast, man. You got to continue to play a 4-quarter ball game and then put yourself. I thought we played 3 quarters tonight, like 3 quarters of football. 3 quarters does not equate to a win. You got to play a 4-quarter, 60-minute ball game, and with these teams in this conference, you'll get boat raced, man. If you don't find yourself taking these teams to deep water. So that's a mentality that we have to gain shortly. How do you go to deep water? Okay, deep water's got to be where we need to be, man. But we got to find a way to live in it, and we got to find a way to win in it, and that's what's going to be the difference when man, go up against the teams in this conference, man. Because everybody is a shade or a tick below or above one another, okay. And right now, okay, man, it's wide open. We haven't played a conference game, so let's go do what we need to do.
I know part of the offensive identity you established is running the football. It felt like early on in the game you were able to, but you only ended up with 7 or 8 rushing attempts. Felt like in some games maybe you've gone away from the rushing attack in the second half. How do you make sure you keep running the ball throughout the entire game?
Yeah, you got 48 offensive plays, right? So, like with that being said, I mean, like we definitely have to have more balance. I thought there were like some opportunities, but man, with that we also pushed it down the field and gave ourselves some chances. I think when we got in the red zone, man, or in the maroon zone, what you saw was a couple of tricks, man, that came up short. Right? If they work, man, you're a genius. If they don't work, man, you don't have points. So, like to me, our offensive line is getting better. We got to give them and Jaquil Middlebrook and those backs some opportunities. Just better balance. It got a little skewed tonight. I'm not gonna sort of get sideways about it getting skewed. I mean, we got behind, okay, and needed to score, but the balance would help. That's for sure.
You remained the entire staff except for the special teams, but even with some new additions on the coaching staff, Ashton Logan and Jacob Hathaway have really, and even Balin Woodman have been really good. What have you seen from them in practice leading up to the games that have allowed them to be so effective?
We try to make every day a job interview, so those guys are out there competing every day, right? I mean, everything gets charted, and to be young, to be new, to be, falling into like this space between Coach Arnold, Coach Cam, and Louis Jofi, man, they've done a really good job of acclimating new players here, right? It's not easy to do what they do because everything that they do matters. It gets seen. I thought we punted well tonight. I thought we covered well. I thought we kicked well. Other than Balin's one that went out of bounds, and that was just a control issue. That group works as hard as everybody else is working in practice. So it doesn't surprise me where they're at. We just got to continue to have those types of performances because if we do, well then, and fix some other places, it'll give us a chance to win.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.